Okay, let's shift to the Chicago Bears. Because, I mean, coming into the season, it was funny. This feels like it's 3 months ago. It feels like 6 months ago. Remember the video of Caleb Williams throwing the ball into the net, and he like misses the little pocket. The quarterbacks do this drill in training camp all the time, where you throw the ball into a little pocket, and Caleb's not only missing the pocket, he's missing the whole net in some cases. And at one point, he's just like, gosh darn it, like a pumping of his fist, like crap. Ben Johnson goes to the media. He's like, oh, I wish we were further along than where we're at now. He's even talking about Tyson Bagent, who's the backup to Caleb Williams, like he's running the offense and all these things. And when everyone's like, oh, it's an indictment on Caleb, Caleb's not going to work. I said this back in August. You can go back and check the tape. I said it in August. It's going to be a learning curve, a learning process for Caleb, who's never worked with a coach like Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson, who's never worked with a quarterback like Caleb. And I said, almost verbatim, late October, early November, Halloween, first week or two of November, it's going to start to click. Caleb had a much better stat line last week against the Cincinnati Bengals than he had yesterday against the New York Giants. I thought he was twice as good yesterday as he was against Cincinnati. He was good. The throw to Colston Loveland to win the game, yes, it was horrible tackling by the Bengals, but the fact that Caleb was able to fit the ball in there, some of those throws, listen, Caleb's got to work on his deep ball. I've said that for a while. Like, the deep ball is not quite there. He throws it on a rope more than on an arc. Like, Stafford's great at that. Herbert, Mahomes, like, those guys, Dak even to a certain degree, like throwing the ball in an arc, Caleb's got to work on that. But these over-the-middle crossing patterns, I mean, he almost throws it too hard, throws a missile to these guys. I mean, Josh Allen, it makes Josh Allen be like, man, I maybe need to put more steam on my throws over the middle. It's unbelievable. But one of the big knocks on Caleb Williams, I remember talking about this on my show, coming out of college. Oh, man, he's not tough enough. Remember when he cried with his mom in the stands after that loss to Washington? Oh, he paints his nails. He's not tough. That's funny. Because I saw yesterday, and to be clear, the Bears O-line's been great this year. My man Darnell Wright out of Tennessee's doing his thing. I'll shout out to him. Ball for life. But yesterday, playing a great Giants D-line, they got worked in pass protection. Oh, and by the way, they were playing in Chicago, Illinois, which was certainly yesterday, wet, snowy, windy, cold, gross, miserable. You're down 10 in the fourth quarter. Yes, Jackson Dart went out, and we'll talk about the Giants later. I get that. But what did Caleb do? Because Caleb wasn't facing Jackson Dart. He was facing the New York Giants defense and pass rush in particular. Deep breath. Oh, by the way, you know what else wasn't counting Caleb's way? Receiver couldn't catch cold. It's funny. It was freezing cold out there in Chicago. Especially Olamide Zaccheaus couldn't catch anything. I think it was like 6 to 8 drops, something along those lines for the Bears yesterday. Couldn't catch anything. Caleb kept his calm, kept his composure. Hey, we're good. We've won a lot of games like this year. We're going to play a bite from Caleb later talking about that. Makes every single throw he needs to. The throw to Colston Loveland, I think this is on, I forget if it was the drive that made it 2017 or the drive that put them up 24-20. I forget which. But over the middle, for him to make that pass, Tom Brady talks about this all the time. Like, you can't hit receivers the way you used to, so quarterbacks kind of get away with throwing quote-unquote hospital balls. Caleb did that, where Colston Loveland makes a great catch, where he has to kind of reach this way to go get it. But to put the ball in a spot where he's not going to get clobbered by a Giants DB, it's like, he's seeing it. Seeing the field was something Caleb kind of struggled with a little bit this season. By the way, you know what something else Caleb struggled with early this year? Pre-snap motion, or pre-snap penalties, guys being in motion and not getting to the line in time. 3 penalties yesterday. So they fixed that. And in the clutch, in the fourth quarter, with his arm, with his legs, he had the 29-yard scamper to get them to score in position before he throws the touchdown to Roman Dunze to make a 3-point game. And then he runs it in down the sideline, showing the explosiveness from 17 yards out, making plays, making throws in the pocket, making a lot of plays outside the pocket, which is what he was famous for at USC. And Caleb Williams this year showed has showed the clutch factor in the fourth quarter. He's got 5 total touchdowns to 1 pick. The completion percentage has to get better. No question. 58%, that's got to get better in a league where 65% is kind of the bare minimum, expectancy. 670 total yards. He has a pass rating of 100. He has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 game-winning drives, which leads the NFL this season, and the one yesterday was the most impressive. His first one was against the Raiders. That was great. The 4th down touchdown. I think it was either DJ Moore or Roman Dunze against Vegas. Blocked the kick. They win that game. The second one against Washington was more DeAndre Swift than Caleb Williams, but still, he did what he had to do. Third game was against the Cincinnati Bengals last week, but some of it's like, Bengals defense is bad. Caleb did make the throw to Colson Loveland yesterday. Down double digits, wet, snowy, cold, windy, gross, disgusting, terrible. Down 10. Giants pass rush is coming after you and hitting you every single play, and you don't miss a beat. That is a franchise quarterback. That is what the Chicago Bears have been starving for their whole history. I mean, the Bears have had great history going back to the late great George Halas and all the way to the Chicago Bears defense in 1985 that a lot of people think is the greatest ever, and Mike Ditka and Singletary and Sweetness and even Urlacher in the modern day. Like, it's all been defense. They cannot find the quarterback. Never had a guy go for 4,000 passing. Never had a guy throw for 30 touchdowns or more in a season. They've got their guy. I think Caleb's going to be a star to superstar player. He's not there yet. Accuracy's got to get better. Consistency's got to get better. But the pre-snap penalties, that's gone. Can he play behind a bad O-line? Well, I saw him have his moments get under a terrible O-line last year. This year with a great O-line that had a bad day against a great D-line, he was sensational. Utterly sensational. And we'll talk about Dable in a second. That was outstanding. Kudos to Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams actually talked after the game about the Bears winning all these close games this season.
I think it's what Coach built for us. I think it's that full 60-minute football that we talk about to ourselves in that locker room. I think it's just us and our determination that we won't go out without a fight. And if we go out and we're not on the right side that we want to be on, we win out fighting. Recently it's been that we've come out on top, but we got to find ways to put points up early, fast. Defense has to stop, and special teams have to do their job, and we got to keep going and putting up a lot of points. That's what we can do. It's awesome having these games, but we got to find ways to win the game a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and that's a leader of the team holding his guys to a high standard, but it's always a team. Like, that's something, I said this back when Caleb was, and by the way, I know a legitimate criticism of Caleb's temperament, so to speak, the slumping on the bench, at times the tantrums, completely fair criticisms. But as I said when he was coming out of USC, the nails, I could care less about the nails, honest to God. Can you play or can you not? I don't care about the nails. But the whole thing with the mom in the stands. Give me that guy who maybe at times is a little too over-emotional over a guy the Bears had about 15 years ago. Remember Jay Cutler? Wouldn't come back in an NFC Championship game because Super Bowl, no Super Bowl. What's the difference, Always kind of slumped. Body language was bad. Like, he was like Aaron Rodgers on steroids in terms of leadership. Teammates couldn't stand him in Chicago. I've always said, I've used the example. When Kawhi Leonard beat the Philadelphia 76ers in that Game 7 with the buzzer beater bounce off the rim a million times. Joel Embiid is sobbing going to the locker room. Ben Simmons, stone-faced. And I wish I had a podcast at the time. I started, 6 months later. But I remember saying, that's who the Sixers are going to build their franchise around. The guy who is crushed over the guy, take it or leave it, Maybe Ben Simmons was crushed. He certainly didn't show it. And there is something to being stoic. I get that. But in a city like Chicago, where the fans are as passionate as they are, where the fans are just starved for some competent football, certainly competence at quarterback, to show them you care, they've got their guy, without question. Clutch gene, accuracy's got to improve. It does. The mobility, the arm strength is off the bleeping charts with this kid. If you had a redraft in 2024, Drake May's going number 1, and I'm sorry, Caleb's going number 2. Jaden can't stay healthy. Penix is inconsistent. McCarthy's just not good. And Bo Nix has been bad this season and is more reliant on the guys around him than everybody in the draft aside from J.J. McCarthy. Big time performance from Caleb Williams yesterday. Very, very impressed. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.